You're listening to Between the Reads, a bi-weekly podcast that shines the spotlight on books by new and recently published authors. I'm your host, Audra Russell. Are you looking for a good read? Tired of being disappointed by trending books that don't live up to the hype? Maybe you're an aspiring author and feel like giving up on your writing? Stay tuned, book lovers and writers alike. This show is for you. Our podcast sponsor today is Delaney Diamond, USA Today bestselling author of sweet, sensual, passionate romance. Seasoned is her latest release, about three friends in their 40s and 50s who live in San Diego, and the summer they each find everlasting love, proving it's never too late for a happily ever after. For more details, visit DelaneyDiamond.com. That's DeLaney Diamond.com. Janae Marie was born in Detroit, Michigan. She received her first college degree in media arts and studies from Wayne State University. Later, she relocated to California, where she pursued and received her second degree in broadcast journalism. Her first book, Flirting with Temptations, was published when she was 25. Janae published two more books before the age of 30, Daddy's Home and Double Take. Her latest novel, Besties, is available now, and her current work in progress is entitled Sleeping with the Enemy. Janae, welcome to Between the Reads.
Hi. Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited too. I'm so glad you could be here. So, how did you get from Detroit to California?
That's a real good question. Okay, well, honestly, I just wanted to change. I really wanted to start trying to get into script writing. So, I just decided to, move out of Detroit so I could grow my career as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured that being closer to the Los Angeles area would be good for me. So, hopefully, I'm planning to move there next year. So.
Okay, that's great. So let's get in between the pages of Double Take. Tell us a little bit about this novel and why you chose to write it.
Okay, so Double Take is the story of two twin brothers who live in the same household, but they have like two completely different lives. Their names are Carlos and Carlton. So Carlton is like, think of Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, pretty much, basically. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like button up. He's so reserved, and he's book smart. Wants to go to college, be a politician, and make some changes. Whereas Carlos, he's kind of a bad boy. He wants fast money. He sells drugs because he's for instant gratification. So what ends up happening later on down the line in their lives, one of the brothers is, because I don't want to give too much away, but one of the,
Right. I was gonna say, don't give no spoilers away, girl.
yeah. So one of the brothers is tried for a crime that they didn't commit. So
Right. And Carlos and Carl are so different. They both grew up in Detroit. And like you said, he seems motivated to make a change. He's on track. He wants to go to college. He wants to, study political science, which he ends up doing. And he becomes, he gets into politics to try and change Detroit. But Carlos is jaded and believes that nothing will ever change for them because they're Black men. So why, them growing up in the same household, why did you choose to make them so different?
I wanted to make them different because I wanted to show how it only takes a minute for your life to change. All it takes, whether you make a good decision or a bad decision, it only takes a minute for your life change. You may think, oh, I have this perfect life, so my life is going to be that way forever, or, I don't. But on the same hand, just because you've been given a bad hand, I don't want, readers to think how people have that perception like, oh, if you've had a rough life or you've been in and out of prison, no one's going to hire you or you're never going to get anywhere in life. So kind of wanted to get that misconception out of there to bring to light that it only takes a minute for your life to completely change.
Okay. So one day the two brothers, they see their mother crying because the lights were about to be cut off and they were about to be evicted. So, and this is where their two lives really begin to veer off the path into different directions, because before that, Carl was trying to keep Carlos out of drugs, keep him on the straight and narrow. But when this happens, Carlos knows what he has to do, and he decides to give into the temptation of selling drugs. And he gets involved with Quincy, who that's a whole nother story right there. That brother, oh my God. Yeah. And so his while Carl stays the course for college, um, Carlos goes out and decides to sell drugs. So, but Carl seems very jealous of Carlos, even though, he feels like Carlos is headed for destruction. So, what's going on there with the two brothers? Because, like I said, Carl seems very there's some animosity there between the two.
Yeah, it definitely is. So pretty much Carlos, he does, like you said, he is jaded. He does believe like, hey, we're black men. He believes the stigma, like, we're black men. There's nothing, ain't no opportunities going to be given to us. We got to go out there and take it. And
Mm-hmm.
He believes that Carlton is a little bit like too kind of stuck up and in his own head to see reality. So he doesn't think that he has a clear grasp on what the real world is. And Carlton does kind of envy Carlos because of Carlos being rebellious and because Carlos has this kind of, I would say, free spirit because he takes action. He's more of like a take action type of person. He doesn't wait. I would say he doesn't wait on anyone to give him anything. He's the type like, if I want it, I'm gonna go out and get it type of thing.
Right. Okay. So maybe he's just a little envious of how free spirited Carlos is. So you fast forward in the book, and Carlos has been in and out of jail, and again because that damn Quincy set him up so many times. Like I can't even Quincy. I didn't even form any questions about Quincy. That's how much I don't like Quincy in this book. Because he did them dirty, and I can't say anything without, because I want people to experience that. But Quincy did them dirty. He did them real dirty. So Carlos is in and out of jail. Carl has graduated from college, and he becomes city councilman of Detroit.
Yeah.
He has it all. He's got the job he wanted. He's got his wife Sheila, which she another one I don't like. And they have their two children.
Yeah.
And then Carl becomes bored with the everyday routine of his life. And he kind of admits to himself that, he likes how spontaneous Carlos is. And he tries to spice up his life by being affectionate with his wife, and she shoves him away because she's studying for the bar. And then it's revealed that they haven't been intimate in at least 3 months. So, of course, he has an affair with his new assistant, who's a white woman.
Yeah.
I don't know why you had to make her white. That's my first question. What the hell? And then, of course, everything starts to shift for Carlton because, that's all I can say without ruining the book. But
yeah.
So how did you come up with all these plot twists?
Off the top of my head.
So you just decided I'm gonna throw a white chick in here. He's gonna have an affair with her, and all this other stuff that happened between the brothers and all of that. You just off the top of your head, huh?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. I'm not saying all, so brothers don't shoot me down for this, but we know how some, and I'm saying some, not all, some black men when they get successful, they feel like they
need a Karen in their life.
It's out there, so don't get mad at me. It's true. I was just being realistic.
Come on, now you're a writer. You're supposed to, we can create the worlds. You could at least made.
Yeah, but I wanted to make the situation even worse for Colton, though.
Yeah, right. I was like, see, the new assistant here, she comes. I was like, don't. The whole time I was reading that book, I was like, don't you dare do this, Janae. And then they went out for lunch. I was like, yep, she gonna do it. She gonna
Yeah,
do it. Damn it. So if this book was made into a movie, what celebrities do you see playing the roles?
oh, that's such a good question because I actually really want to work on getting it into a film. Um,
Okay.
let's see. Oh shoot.
Ha, put you on the spot, huh?
Yes. My goodness.
Okay, well, I'll take you off the hook a little bit. The twins might be a little harder because I don't know of a whole lot of twin celebrities. But who would you get to play Quincy?
Um, I like Anthony Mackie.
Okay,
Yeah, I think he could play something
you
like
think
that.
so? Yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
but let's see who else.
And what about Sheila? Because she's a little witch.
Oh shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you stumped, huh? You need some time to do the casting call.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the next question. So, do any of these characters, out of all the ones you've written, is there one that holds a special place in your heart?
You mean in this book or just one in general?
In this book?
Oh yeah. Carlos.
Really? Okay, why?
Yeah, because he does get to a point where he does grow up, and I think once he notices that he's missing out on his child's life, he figures that he needs to grow up and be a man and find a way to make money the legit way instead of trying to sell drugs and live the fast life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like without giving too much away, like he does end up getting screwed over. So.
Mm-hmm. He sure does. Oh my goodness. I still couldn't believe that. I kept and y'all gonna have to
Yeah,
just read the book if you want to know what I'm talking about. But I was just like, wow, that is so calculated.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just wow, I couldn't believe that. I can't even say anything because I don't want to give it away. But that was really calculated. That was cold
It's usually
blooded.
the ones that you least suspect. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
Exactly. So you have three other books out right now, and
Yeah.
one coming out in December.
Yes.
So tell us the title of each of your books and give us a little sneak preview about what each of them are about.
Okay, Flirting with Temptations is my first book, and that is a single woman who likes to sleep with married men.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And she does not care. She has no qualms about herself, and she's like, "Hey, don't get mad at me because your man found me attractive. You know, your man is happy with me and not with you, and so of course,
Are there any how does that? I don't want you to give the ending of the book away, but how does she obviously has to get into some kind of a situation, right?
oh yeah, she gets her ass kicked.
Oh, okay.
She runs into a crazy ass stalker. One of the men, like she puts it on one of the guys a little bit too well, and he gets a little bit too attached.
Oh, okay. So kind of a fatal attraction thing going on.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah.
All right. And what's your next book?
My next book is Daddy's Home, and that story is about a young lady who gets molested by her father.
Wow.
Yeah, and the killer part is her mother walks in on. She actually walks in on it and doesn't do anything about it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awful. Oh my goodness.
And basically, she pretty much abandons her and leaves her like alone with the guy. So yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that story?
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad you asked me that. Okay, so while I was actually on my way home and I was actually waiting on a bus, so I heard a young lady saying that she had to sell her ass basically to make
Oh my
rent, and
goodness.
I just was like, wow, and she was having a dialogue between, it was like a dialogue between her and her boyfriend, and she was like, "You just don't know what I have to do to make money and blah blah blah," and I found
Wow.
their conversation was so, I was like, that's pretty juicy. so, so I was like, "Ooh, let me turn that into a story," and then here we go with Daddy's Home. Yeah, because
Wow. That's
yeah, because
that's quite a story.
Danielle, she runs away from home, and then she ends up actually, pretty much bed hopping, um, going from her friend's house, her aunt's house. Her aunt tries to help her, but being Danielle, she's hurt. She actually um, realizes that the person that she thought was her father was actually not her father, and she ends up, getting herself into some trouble. She becomes homeless. She's stripping. She gets involved with drugs and a mess. And I don't want to give too much away, but yeah.
Yeah, so you really do bring all the drama from the streets in your books, like your website says. And so the next book you have is called Besties. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Okay, so besties is basically when you feel like you're bad, you think like, oh, this is my homegirl. I've known her all my life, and then you come to realize she's been plotting against you the whole entire time. So,
Ouch.
yeah. Imagine you renewing your vows with your husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
Renewing your vows with your husband.
Uh-oh.
Then you catch your husband screwing your best friend. And then
Ooh.
screwing your best friend, and then your best friend tell you, "Oh, girl, remember when I told you I was pregnant? Girl, guess who the father is?" Like,
Wow. Okay. Yikes.
yeah, you thought this was so. You're A1 from day one. Like,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then you have I'm scared to ask what Sleeping with the Enemy is about.
Now I'm actually so happy to be finally releasing this story. I I sat on this story for a good 4 years because I thought that the topic was a little bit too much for people to handle. But I just decided to just release it and let it go.
Okay, so what is the topic?
Okay, so the main character, Jeffrey Willis, is born with the HIV virus, and
Mm-hmm.
he spreads it. He tries to spread it to as many men as women as possible.
Wow.
Yes, and he's very narcissistic, very sadistic, and basically he screws over every single person that he meets.
Wow.
Yeah, he's still.
So it sounds like he's upset that he was born with this disease.
Yes, that's what
Mm.
instilled in him. Basically,
Mm.
like no one's gonna feel sorry for you, so you might as well just, take some people down along the way.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So can we have a little hint, like, obviously, like, what did his mom, how does she contract it?
Well,
Or is that giving too much away?
no, actually, the mother got it from the father because the father was very promiscuous, and then he's
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, and it passed it along to they passed it along to her, and the
Wow.
actually the father was abusive, and the mother he killed Jeffrey's mother, so they were arrested. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. My goodness. So you got a lot of drama going on in these stories. So let us have a peek inside that pretty brain of yours and tell us what your writing process looks like on an average day.
My writing process, I have to jot down a lot of notes. The stuff just comes to me in my head. Majority of the time when I'm asleep, um, stuff comes to me. So,
And you still remember it when you wake up?
no, usually if something comes to me, I have to literally, I'll put notes in my phone.
So when you dream about stuff, you can still, like, when I'll dream about like all these wonderful stories, and then I'll wake up and can't remember half of it.
Yeah.
So do you, when you go to write, do you have a set time that you write, or do you just write when it comes to you? Do you put on music? Like, what does that your whole day look like when you write?
Uh, so what because I do have a 9-year-old daughter, so I write when
Mhm.
she sleeps.
Okay.
Yeah, I write when she sleeps because that's the only time when she's not bugging me.
I know that feeling.
I love her dearly. I love her dearly though.
Right. Of course you do.
Yeah. So I will say this: I do listen to music. I listen to the Sunshine, Roy Ayers, the Sunshine, and Cool and the
Mhm.
Gang. Um, when I was writing Double Take, so yeah,
Okay.
that really helped me write that book. So I just like
Okay.
I don't know. It's just like something about music. It really helps me to write.
Okay. Okay. So when you write, how long do you write for? Do you set a certain amount of time, or do you just write until you can't write anymore? Do you have a word goal or a page goal?
Usually, I just write until I can't write anymore. Or at least I try to at least bust out a chapter or something. Yeah, I don't force myself to write. I
Okay.
don't like to force myself to write because with sleeping with the enemy, I had writer's block. I say for a good about a year and a half, close to 2 years, I had writer's block.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's a long stretch.
yeah, it is. That's sad. Like I said on the story for like 4 years.
Wow.
Because I had like the first half of the story, but I had good
Hmm.
writer's block for a good long time, and then let's move.
So did you work on other projects while you had that writer's
Yeah,
block, or
yeah.
what did
Yep,
you
I
do?
wrote Besties while I had that. I just had writer's block with that story. I didn't just come
Oh,
with writer's
okay.
block. I wrote Besties at the same time, like while I had the
Okay.
block. Yeah,
Well, that's good that you had
yeah,
something else that you could work on. That's why I always like to have at least two or three books that are, in progress, because when I get tired of one, I can just shift to another one.
yeah. It's easier that way. It's like because if you don't write, you start for like, dang, I'm being real unproductive.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I need to get myself together.
So, in addition to sleeping with the enemy, do you have any other projects on the horizon?
Actually, yeah, I've started writing scripts. So I want to start writing scripts for TV, and I want to finish writing the script for Daddy's Home. I mean, I'm sorry, Double Take.
Okay, so do you have
Yeah,
ideas for scripts that you want to write, or are they just the scripts for the books you already have?
I have one just for that book I want to write, and yeah, I do have other ideas for scripts.
Go ahead. Do you have can you share a couple, like some ideas you have?
Yeah, I also have okay, so let's take Walk with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Uh oh, oh
No,
Lord.
no. I actually wanted. I got a lot of ideas. So one of the stories I wanted to write was a story called Label Whore, and it was going to be basically about a young lady trying to get into the industry, but she has to, jump through all these hoops to try to get taken seriously.
That's so. It sounds like you got some interesting things in the works there.
And then I have Leilani's Secret, and that's about a young lady who's battling I mean, she's like juggling her acting career in her personal life, and in her personal life, she's getting abused by her boyfriend.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so
Okay.
and
Yikes.
she's trying to hide the fact that she's getting abused from the public eye. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that never goes well. Oh wow.
Uh,
Okay, so it sounds like you got some good projects in the works. So where do you get your story ideas from?
most of the time, I get some come to me in my head. The other times, it's just I write some things about what's going on in the world right now. Because like Leilani's Secret, I actually that's a story I already wrote. I wrote that story when I was 16. I just never published it. That's actually going to be coming out after Sleeping with the Enemy.
Nice. Okay, I'll be looking forward to that. Yeah, I gotta get some more of your books, because Double Take was a very interesting story. And talking to you, I could see, I like to see how you kind of you have, like you said, these drama-filled stories. So I'm going to have to check out a few more. So, if you could give aspiring writers one piece of advice that you wish you knew starting out, what would it be?
Don't expect people to support you. Do it anyway. Don't be like, oh, so and so doesn't support me. Who cares? Do it anyway. It's your dream, not theirs. Believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, ain't nobody else gonna believe in you. This is your dream. It's like, because it's something that I had to learn myself. You know, we get disappointed when people that we think should be in our corner is not. But you know what? Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not paying your bills. Who cares? It's your dream.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 'cause
Mm-hmm.
I've heard like God didn't give the vision to them; He gave it to you. So it's up to you to get it out there. You know, because most of the time the people that will support you gonna be strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and have tough skin, have thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to have that as a writer.
Yeah, you do. You know, you might get a review and somebody trash your book, and if you don't have thick skin, you'd be like, okay, well, maybe I'm not a good writer, and I'm gonna quit. Because I'm like, I was like that in the beginning when I first started writing, but I'm like, this is what I like. Everybody, you know, writing is up to interpretation, so everybody has an opinion. You know, what somebody, one person might not like it, but like 50 more people might love it. So.
Right.
You know,
everything isn't for everybody. You're gonna have some people who like it and some people who don't.
Right. Like some people might not like Beyonce. You know, who cares?
Right.
Do you think Beyonce cares? No. Beyonce's a millionaire. So.
Right.
Yeah, so, my advice would be to, you know, believe in yourself and don't expect people to support you. Support will come as long as you keep going. That was. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're a self-published author.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us why you chose to go this route, because I feel that it's really important, but I like for my writers who are self-published to share why they chose to go that avenue.
I chose to go this route because I could be in full control of everything. It is a lot of work, you know, it's a lot of work. You know, and it's a lot harder to try to get published traditionally. It's not impossible; it's just a lot harder. And and as far as the work that we write, like as far as like Black authors, I don't think anyone understands our work except for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And there's a propensity for the publishing world to try and phase us out when something doesn't catch on right away, whereas they don't really do that with white authors. If something doesn't work with a white author, they'll just try a different avenue. But with us, it's just like, okay, it didn't work, you're done. So I think it's just really important to, you know, to self-publish and to have our own publishing companies, because we don't need anybody to try and tell our stories or tell us what short stories should and shouldn't be told.
Yes, and when I go to the bookstores, I've always been upset about the amount of attention that we get in the store. I don't feel like we get enough attention, you know. And
right.
You know, I just feel like we could just take up more, instead of we only get like a little small section where the other authors they take up, you know, most of the store, and I don't feel like we get as much as like of a book signing. They're, you know, major retailers. I don't. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't feel like we get as much of a promoted as white authors. And I believe, not to be funny, but I think we are just as good, if not better, than they are.
Of course we are. Of course we are. Yeah, I had a little moment the other day because I went into Books a Million yesterday with my daughter, and usually there is a section that is just Black authors.
Yeah, you know.
And I've always felt torn about that, because on the one hand, it's like great because now I can just go right here and I can just browse through the authors, and I know I'm going to have a Black author because, I've been, wanting to read a lot more Black authors. But on the other hand, I'm like, but white people are going to walk right past this because they don't want to read it. And when I went to the store yesterday, the African American fiction section was gone.
Yes.
And I said, oh, that's interesting. So I asked the woman, I said, well, where did you move it to? She said, oh, we just moved the authors in with all the other authors. So if you want something from romance, they're going to be in the romance. So they put them in by genre. So part of me was happy because I was like, okay, that's good, because that means these authors are going to be able to get discovered more when people are just browsing through the books. But on the other hand, it's like, I want to just be able to go and see, like, okay, these are Black authors. I want to get their books. So I feel so torn.
Yeah. So.
And then I talked to my friend about it. He was like, yeah, but it's not like they were doing that because, they have love for us. He was like, they were probably doing it for one or two reasons. One, because it's the politically correct thing to do now. And two, because they just don't order enough of our books, to warrant keeping us in our own section. So it's like, there's such a duality with that topic. It's just,
Yeah, we're still fighting for respect, I don't think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell our readers where they can find all of your books?
You can find my books at my website at JanaeMarieBooks.com. And I have free shipping, and I autograph all copies of my books.
Okay, and for my readers out there, it's spelled JANAEMARIE books.com.
Yes, and also on Amazon, and paperback and ebook as well.
Okay, and then tell us where we can find you on social media.
I'm on Facebook.com/author Janae Marie, Instagram at author Janae author Janae author Janae underscore Marie 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's
okay.
Instagram.com/author Janae _Marie 5.
Okay, great. All right, so I want to thank you, Janae, for coming on the show today and sharing your time and your talents with us. Truly enjoyed having you here.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm absolutely so honored that you came on the show, and I'm definitely going to be getting more books. And please know that you're welcome back on the show anytime one of your books releases.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Booze and Bros, I'm going to leave you with a simple quote today from the late, great Walter Dean Myers, who says very simply, reading is not optional. Until next time, Booze and Bros, grab a book and read. And I'm out. You've been listening to Between the Reads. I'm your host, Audra Russell. Thanks for tuning in. This week's episode was brought to you by loyal Patreon supporters, romance author D.L. White, whose books you can find at booksbydlwhite.com, Xanthene's All Natural Products, which you can find at xanthenes.com, that's XANTHINES.com, and by the ultimate in urban literature, Paper Chase Publications, which you can find at paperchasepublications.com. Tune in next week for another great episode.